Captain Lisa Martinez stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance and watched the stars through the main screen. The ship moved quietly through space near the edge of known territory. Lisa had been exploring this part of the galaxy for 3 months. Now, Earth had sent her ship to make contact with new alien races and learn about the galactic community. Lieutenant Commander Jake Thompson walked up to her station. His face looked worried. Jake was the ship's tactical officer and had been studying alien military reports all morning. "Captain, we're getting a strange signal," Jake said. "It's coming from the Kethvar homeworld. The transmission is weak and breaking up." Lisa turned to face him. "What kind of signal?" "It sounds like a distress call. But there's something else. The whole planet seems to be going dark. Power grids are shutting down one by one." Dr. Amanda Foster looked up from her science station. She was the ship's expert on alien life forms. Amanda had been monitoring the Kethvar world for weeks as part of their survey mission. "Captain, I'm reading massive biosignatures near the planet," Amanda said. "Something huge is in orbit. The readings don't match any known ship design." Lisa felt a cold feeling in her stomach. "Put the distress call on speakers." The bridge filled with a crackling, desperate voice. The translator worked to change the alien words into English. "This is Kethvar Defense Command. Our world is under attack. The Vexthari have come. We cannot stop them. They are consuming everything. Our people are dying. Anyone who receives this message, do not come here. Save yourselves. The Vexthari show no mercy." The transmission cut to static. The bridge went silent. Jake checked his readings again. "Captain, I'm showing 17 cities that have gone completely dark. No power, no life signs, nothing." Amanda's hands moved quickly over her controls. "The biosignatures are getting stronger. Whatever is up there is growing larger." Commander Carlos Rivera entered the bridge. He was the human representative to the Galactic Alliance and had been studying alien politics for years. Carlos looked pale and shaken. "Captain, I need to speak with you privately," Carlos said. Lisa followed him to her ready room. Carlos sat down heavily in a chair and rubbed his face with his hands. "I've been in contact with the Alliance Council," Carlos said. "They're terrified. The Vexthari aren't just another hostile species. There's something much worse." "What do you mean?" Lisa asked. Carlos pulled up a holographic display. It showed a map of the galaxy with large red areas marked across it. "The Vexthari are parasites. They feed on the life force of entire civilizations. When they attack a world, they don't just kill the people. They consume their energy, their fear, their very essence." Lisa stared at the map. The red areas covered huge sections of space. "How long has this been going on?" "Over 300 years. 17 complete species have been wiped out. The remaining 43 civilizations exist only because they pay tribute. They give the Vexthari what they want and hope to be left alone." "What do they want?" Carlos's voice dropped to a whisper. "Fear. They feed on terror itself. The more afraid their victims are, the stronger the Vexthari become. The galactic species have learned to be afraid. It's how they survive." Lisa felt anger building inside her. "You're telling me the entire galaxy just gives up and pays protection money to these parasites?" "It's not that simple, Captain. The Vexthari ships are massive bioconstructs. They're part machine, part living creature. No conventional weapon can hurt them. They adapt to any attack. Species that fight back get consumed completely. Species that submit get to live as long as they stay afraid." The captain walked to her window and looked out at the stars. "What happened to the last species that tried to fight?" "The Corvani. They were a warrior race, proud and strong. They refused to pay tribute and fought for 12 years. The Vexthari consumed their entire star system. 20 billion lives gone. After that, resistance stopped. The galaxy learned its lesson." Lisa turned back to Carlos. "How many Vexthari are there?" "No one knows for sure. Their main fleet has hundreds of bioships. Each one can destroy a planet. They move from system to system, harvesting fear and life energy. When they're done with one area, they move to the next. And the Alliance Council just accepts this?" Carlos nodded sadly. They've created safe zones where species can hide if they follow the rules. Pay tribute, stay quiet, don't fight back, and maybe you'll be left alone for another generation. Amanda's voice came over the comm system. Captain, you need to see this. Lisa and Carlos returned to the bridge. Amanda had enhanced the sensor readings from the HFY system. The display showed something that made Lisa's blood run cold. A massive shape hung in space above the dying planet. It looked like a twisted combination of a jellyfish and a mechanical spider. Tentacles as long as city blocks reached down toward the planet's surface. Where they touched, everything went dark. It's feeding, Amanda said quietly. The bio readings show it's literally draining the life from the planet. Every living thing down there is dying. Jake pulled up tactical data. Captain, that thing is 12 kilometers long. Our weapons wouldn't even scratch it. Lisa watched the terrible scene on the screen. Millions of innocent people were dying while their ship stood by helplessly. Every instinct told her to do something, to fight, to help. But what could one human ship do against something that had terrified the galaxy for centuries? Captain, Amanda said, I'm detecting escape pods launching from the planet. Some of the HFY are trying to flee. How many? Maybe a few thousand. Out of a population of 800 million. Lisa made her decision. Set course for the escape pods. We're going to pick up survivors. Carlos grabbed her arm. Captain, if the Vexthari see us helping refugees, they might target Earth. We can't risk it. Lisa pulled her arm free. I'm not going to watch people die when we can help them. Preet Ferns moved toward the fleeing escape pods. As they got closer, Amanda's readings became clearer. The Vexthari bioship was even more horrible than it looked from a distance. Parts of it pulsed like a living heart. Other sections glowed with unnatural light. Captain, Jake said, we're being scanned. The Vexthari ship knows we're here. Lisa felt every eye on the bridge turn to her. In a few minutes, humanity would have its first contact with the terror that had paralyzed the galaxy. She had no weapons that could hurt the alien ship. She had no plan beyond saving a few refugees, but something inside her refused to run away. The rescue operation took 4 hours. Captain Lisa Martinez watched as her crew brought the last HFY survivor aboard the UES Defiance. The insect-like aliens were in shock. Their large compound eyes stared at nothing. Many of them shook, uncontrollably. Dr. Amanda Foster worked in the medical bay, treating the refugees. She came to the bridge looking tired and disturbed. Captain, I've never seen trauma like this, Amanda said. These people aren't just scared. It's like their minds have been broken. Some of them can't even speak anymore. Lisa looked at the sensor readings. The Vexthari bioship was still feeding on the HFY homeworld. Somehow it had ignored the human ship during the rescue. Maybe it was too busy consuming an entire planet to care about one small vessel. Any word from Earth? Lisa asked. Lieutenant, Commander Jake Thompson nodded. Admiral Patricia Stone wants to speak with you directly. Priority channel. The main screen changed to show Admiral Stone in her office at Terra Command. The older woman looked serious but not afraid. Lisa had served under Stone for 10 years and knew that expression. The Admiral was angry. Captain Martinez, I've received your report. The situation is worse than we thought, Stone said. I'm sending you new orders. Return to Earth immediately. We need to study these HFY survivors and learn everything we can about the Vexthari. Understood, Admiral. What about the other Alliance species? Are they sending help? Stone's face grew hard. The Alliance Council has declared the HFY system a total loss. They're not sending any rescue missions. They say it would only anger the Vexthari and make things worse. Lisa felt anger rise in her chest. They're just going to abandon an entire species? According to Commander Rivera's reports, that's how the galaxy works now. Submit or die. The Alliance has been following this rule for 3 centuries. The transmission ended. Lisa stood on her bridge and tried to understand what she had learned. Billions of people had just died, and the galactic government was doing nothing. No rescue missions, no military response, no help at all. Jake walked over to her. Captain, I don't get it. Why doesn't anyone fight back? These Vexthari things are just bullies. Bullies can be beaten. Dr. Amanda Foster overheard him. It's not that simple, Jake. I've been studying the bio readings from their ship. The Vexithari don't just kill people. They feed on fear itself. The more terrified their victims are, the stronger they become. So what? Jake said. Every enemy has weaknesses. We just need to find theirs. Commander Carlos Rivera joined the conversation. He had been quiet since the rescue operation began. You don't understand. The Corvani tried to fight. They were warriors, much stronger than humans. The Vexthari consumed their entire star system. Maybe the Corvani didn't fight smart enough, Jake replied. Carlos shook his head. 17 species have been completely destroyed. 43 others survive only by hiding and paying tribute. How can you talk about fighting something like that? Lisa listened to the argument and realized something important. The aliens were all talking about the Vexthari like they were unstoppable natural disasters, like hurricanes or earthquakes, something you could only hide from and hope to survive. But Jake was talking about them like enemies, like a problem that could be solved. The journey back to Earth took 3 weeks. During that time, Dr. Amanda Foster worked with the Kethvar survivors. Slowly, some of them began to speak again. What they told her was horrible. The Vexithari don't just kill quickly, Amanda reported to Lisa. They keep their victims alive, as long as possible. The feeding process can take days or weeks. The more fear and pain they can create, the more energy they harvest. Lisa met with the Kethvar leader, a female called Zektar. The alien's translator helped her speak English, but her voice was weak and broken. Your people are brave to rescue us, Zektar said. But you must not fight the Vexthari. They will consume your entire species. Run. Hide. Find a place where they cannot find you? What if we don't want to hide? Lisa asked. Zektar's compound eyes focused on her with surprise. You cannot fight them. No one can fight them. They are death itself. Everything can be fought, Lisa said. Everything has weaknesses. The Kethvar leader made a sound that might have been laughter, but there was no humor in it. We thought the same thing once. We had the strongest military in our sector. We had weapons that could crack planets. None of it mattered. The Vexthari adapted to everything we used against them. When the Defiance reached Earth, Admiral Stone was waiting with a team of scientists and military experts. Dr. Benjamin Clark, Earth's leading expert on hostile alien psychology, interviewed the Kethvar survivors for days. His report was disturbing. The Vexthari have created a galaxy-wide system based on terror. Every species has learned that resistance means extinction. They've been conditioned to accept defeat before they even try to fight. What about the Vexthari themselves? Admiral, Stone asked, what are their weaknesses? Dr. Clark looked through his notes. According to the survivors, they've never encountered a species that responds to overwhelming odds with anything except fear. Their entire feeding system is based on harvesting terror. Lisa was in the meeting when Dr. Clark gave his report. Something about his words made her think, Doctor, what happens when they try to feed on someone who isn't afraid? The survivors don't know. As far as they can tell, it's never happened. Every species they've encountered becomes terrified when they see a Vexthari bioship. Admiral. Stone stood up and walked to the window. Outside, they could see the lights of Earth's cities. Billions of humans lived down there, completely unaware that a cosmic horror was loose in the galaxy. So our options are simple, Stone said. We can hide like the other species and hope the Vexithari never find us. Or we can try to fight something that has terrified the galaxy for 3 centuries. Lisa thought about the dying Kethvar world. She remembered the massive bioship draining the life from an entire planet while the galaxy watched and did nothing. Admiral, what if fear is their weakness, not their strength? Lisa said. Everyone in the room turned to look at her. Think about it, Lisa continued. They've been feeding on afraid species for 300 years. What if they don't know how to handle enemies who fight back without fear? What if they've become dependent on terror? Dr. Clark looked interested. You mean they might be vulnerable to a species that doesn't respond with fear? Maybe. Lisa said. But there's only one way to find out. Admiral Stone smiled for the first time since the meeting began. Captain Martinez, I think you're volunteering for a very dangerous mission. Lisa nodded. Someone has to find out if bullies can be beaten. 3 months after the Kethavar rescue, Admiral Patricia Stone stood in the war room at Terra Command. The walls were covered with charts and images of Vexathari bioships. Earth's best scientists and military minds had been studying the enemy non-stop. Captain Ryan Kelly entered the room. He commanded the UES Vigilant, a fast reconnaissance ship built for dangerous missions. Ryan had volunteered to observe a Vexathari attack up close. Admiral, we have our target, Ryan said. The Zephyrian colony world of Talos 3. Intelligence says the Vexathari will attack there within the week. Admiral Stone nodded. The Galactic Council has already written off the colony. They're evacuating government officials and leaving the rest to die. Dr. Benjamin Clark looked up from his research. This will be our chance to study their feeding patterns. But Captain Kelly, you must understand the risk. If they detect your ship, they might target Earth next. Ryan smiled grimly. Doctor, if we don't learn how to fight these things, Earth will be a target eventually anyway. The meeting was interrupted by Lieutenant Sarah Brooks, the communications officer. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from Captain Martinez. The Defiance is in position near the Talos system. The main screen showed Captain Lisa Martinez on the bridge of her ship. She looked tired but determined. Admiral, we're monitoring Zephyrian distress signals. The Vexathari bioship arrived 6 hours ago. It's even bigger than the one we saw at the Kethavar world. How big? Admiral Stone asked. 15 kilometers long. Our sensors can barely map the whole thing. It's like a living city. Dr. Amanda Foster appeared on screen next to Captain Martinez. Admiral, I'm reading massive bioenergy signatures. The feeding process has begun. Entire cities are going dark. Ryan felt sick to his stomach. Millions of innocent people were dying while they watched from a safe distance. Captain Martinez, any sign of resistance from the Zephyrians? Some orbital defense platforms fired. A few shots, but they had no effect. The Vexathari ship just absorbed the energy. Now the surviving Zephyrians are fleeing to the southern continent. Admiral Stone made her decision. Captain Kelly, take the Vigilant and rendezvous with the Defiance. Study that bioship from every angle. We need to find a weakness. Yes, ma'am. What about the Galactic Council? They've forbidden any interference. The Council can go to hell, Stone said. We're not going to sit back and watch genocide. Ryan's ship reached the Talos system 12 hours later. What he saw there would stay with him forever. The Vexathari bioship hung in orbit like a cosmic nightmare. Massive tentacles reached down to the planet's surface. Where they touched, the lights went out. Captain, said Lieutenant Tom Wilson, the Vigilant's tactical officer, I'm reading weapon signatures that don't match anything in our database. The bioship is using some kind of energy drain technology. Ryan studied the sensor readings. It's not just killing them. It's feeding on their fear and life force at the same time. Commander Greg Turner, the ship's pilot, spoke up. Sir, I'm detecting escape pods fleeing the planet. The Zephyrians are trying to run. How many made it out? Maybe 10,000. Out. 50 million. Ryan felt anger burning in his chest. The Zephyrians were bird-like aliens who had always been peaceful. They had never hurt anyone. Now they were being consumed by a monster that treated them like cattle. Captain, Tom said, the bioship is launching smaller vessels. They're chasing the escape pods. On the screen, Ryan watched as organic fighter craft hunted down the fleeing refugees. The Zephyrian ships were fast, but the Vexathari hunters were faster. One by one, the escape pods were caught and destroyed. Sir, we could help them, Greg said quietly. Ryan knew he was right. The Vigilant had weapons and speed. They could fight off the hunters and save some of the refugees. But Admiral Stone's orders were clear. Observe only. Don't reveal humanity's presence. Then Ryan saw something that changed his mind. One of the escape pods contained children. The sensors showed small life forms huddled together in terror. The Vexthari hunter was closing in for the kill. All weapons target that hunter, Ryan ordered. Sir, our orders. I don't care about orders. Open fire. The Vigilance plasma cannons hit the organic fighter craft. The alien ship exploded in a burst of green fire. The escape pod with the children flew to safety. But now the Vexthari knew they were there. Captain, the bioship is turning toward us, Tom reported. We're being scanned. On the screen, Ryan could see the massive alien ship changing course. Tentacles as thick as buildings reached out in their direction. The front of the bioship opened like a mouthful of teeth. All power to engines, Ryan ordered. Get us out of here. The Vigilant ran for its life. Behind them, the Vexthari bioship followed. But something strange happened. The alien ship was fast, but not as fast as Ryan expected. When the Vigilant started shooting back at the pursuing hunters, the attacks became less coordinated. Captain, Tom said with surprise, their targeting systems are having trouble locking onto us. It's like they're not used to fighting enemies that shoot back. Greg was flying the ship in wild patterns, dodging the organic weapons. Sir, these aliens fight like they expect us to run away. When we don't, they seem confused. Ryan realized something important. The Vexthari had been fighting terrified prey for so long that they didn't know how to handle real combat. Their weapons and tactics were designed for hunting, not warfare. Keep shooting, Ryan ordered. Let's see how they handle a real fight. The battle lasted 20 minutes. The Vigilant was heavily outgunned, but they were faster and more aggressive. Every time the Vexthari tried to surround them, Ryan's ship would charge straight at the enemy instead of running away. Finally, something unprecedented happened. The Vexthari hunters stopped chasing them. The bioship turned back toward the planet, leaving the human ship alone. They gave up, Tom said in amazement. They actually gave up. Ryan couldn't believe it either. For the first time in galactic history, the Vexthari had retreated from a battle. Back on Earth, Admiral Stone listened to Ryan's report with growing excitement. Captain, are you telling me that when you fought back aggressively they stopped attacking? Yes, ma'am. It was like they didn't know how to handle an enemy that wasn't afraid of them. Dr. Clark was taking notes rapidly. This fits with my psychological profile. The Vexthari have been feeding on fear for so long that they've forgotten how to fight warriors. They're hunters, not soldiers. Admiral Stone stood up and walked to the tactical display. Gentlemen, I think we found their weakness. They're bullies. And bullies don't know what to do when someone hits back. Captain Martinez's voice came over the communication system. Admiral, I'm still monitoring the Talos system. The Vexthari bioship is behaving strangely. It's feeding much more slowly than before. Something has changed. Dr. Amanda Foster added. The bioenergy readings are different too. It's like the ship is having trouble processing the fear energy. Admiral Stone smiled for the first time in months. That's because fear tastes different when people know someone is willing to fight back. Captain Kelly, your battle may have just saved the galaxy. Ryan looked at his tired crew. They had fought a cosmic horror and lived to tell about it. More importantly, they had learned that the Vexthari could be beaten. Admiral, what are your orders? We're going to do something the galaxy hasn't seen in 300 years, Captain. We're going to fight back. The news of Captain Kelly's victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. For the first time in 300 years, someone had fought the Vexthari and forced them to retreat. The reaction was immediate and shocking. Admiral Patricia Stone stood in the communications center at Terra Command, watching reports come in from across the galaxy. The main screen showed dozens of alien worlds, and on each one, something unprecedented was happening. Admiral, Lieutenant Sarah Brooks reported, we're receiving transmissions from 17 different species. They all want to know the same thing. How did we make the Vexthari run away? Dr. Benjamin Clark walked over to Stone with a datapad in his hands. Admiral, the psychological impact is incredible. The Zephyrian survivors from Talos 3 are telling everyone that human ships saved some of their people. Word is spreading that the Vexthari can be beaten. On the screen they could see Zephyrian refugees on different worlds. The bird-like aliens were no longer hiding in fear. Instead, they were standing tall and speaking to crowds of other species. "What are they saying?" Stone asked. Sarah adjusted her translation equipment. "They're calling humans the Sky Warriors who do not fear death. They're telling everyone that we charged straight at the Vexthari hunters and destroyed them." Admiral Stone felt a mix of pride and worry. Pride because her people had shown courage. Worry because the galaxy's attention was now focused on Earth. The worry grew worse when Commander Carlos Rivera contacted them from the Alliance Council chambers. His face on the screen looked pale and frightened. "Admiral, the Council is in chaos," Carlos said. "Half of them are terrified that humanity's actions will bring Vexithari revenge on all of us. The other half are asking if humans can teach them how to fight." "What's the official Council position?" Stone asked. "They're demanding that Earth stop all military action and submit to Vexthari authority immediately. They say our resistance will doom the entire galaxy." Stone felt anger rise in her chest. "So they want us to surrender without even trying to fight?" "Admiral, you have to understand. These species have lived in terror for centuries. The idea of fighting back is completely foreign to them." But even as Carlos spoke, the reports were showing something different. On world after world, aliens were remembering what it meant to resist. Captain Helen Parker contacted Earth from the mining world of Zirion 7. Her ship, the UES Liberator, was part of the new human rapid response fleet. "Admiral, you're not going to believe what's happening here," Helen said. "The Vortan crystal people have started rebuilding their old defense systems. They haven't used weapons in 200 years, but they're digging them out of storage." On the screen, Stone could see the crystalline aliens working frantically. Their bodies glowed with energy as they assembled massive particle beam weapons. "What, changed their minds?" Stone asked. "The Zephyrian refugees told them about Captain Kelly's battle. The Vortans say they want to be ready if the Vexithari come here." Dr. Amanda Foster joined the conversation from her research station. "Admiral, I'm monitoring bioenergy readings from across the galaxy. Something incredible is happening. The fear levels that the Vexthari feed on are dropping everywhere." "What do you mean?" "People aren't as afraid anymore. Hope is spreading. Faster than we thought possible. The Vexthari feeding system depends on constant terror, but now people know the enemy can be beaten." Lieutenant Colonel Michelle Davis was training with alien volunteers on the human military base on Cygnus Station. Her report showed the dramatic change in alien behavior. "Admiral, you should see these recruits," Michelle said. "A week ago they were too scared to even look at pictures of Vexthari bioships. Now they're asking for bigger weapons and more dangerous missions." On her screen, Stone could see aliens from a dozen different species. Insect-like Kethvar worked alongside bird-like Zephyrians, crystal beings trained next to furry mammalian aliens. All of them were learning human military tactics. "The most amazing thing is their attitude," Michelle continued. "They're not just learning to fight, they're learning to be angry. The Vortan recruit told me yesterday that he's tired of being afraid. He wants to make the Vexithari afraid for a change." But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Commander Alex Morgan was monitoring Vexithari communications from his intelligence ship, the UES Phantom. His report changed everything. "Admiral, we've been intercepting bioship transmissions," Alex said. "The Vexithari are confused and worried. They don't understand what's happening to their food supply." Stone leaned forward. "Explain." "Their feeding efficiency has dropped by 60% across the galaxy. The fear energy they harvest is weaker and harder to process. They're actually having trouble maintaining their bioships." Dr. Clark looked amazed. "They've become dependent on terror. Without constant fear to feed on, their entire biological system is breaking down." The implications were staggering. The Vexithari weren't just bullies, they were addicted to fear. And humanity had started a galaxy-wide recovery program. Captain Lisa Martinez reported from the liberated world of New Kethvar, where survivors had returned to rebuild their homes. "Admiral, the changes here are incredible. The Kethvar aren't hiding underground anymore. They're building cities on the surface and installing defense systems. Any sign of Vexthari response?" "That's the strange part. 3 bioships passed through this system last week, but they didn't attack. Our sensors showed they were scanning for fear levels, and when they didn't find enough terror to feed on, they just moved on." Stone realized what was happening. The Vexithari were like cosmic vampires. They needed fear to survive. But fear was becoming a rare commodity in a galaxy that was learning to fight back. The most dramatic change came from the warrior species that had been broken centuries ago. The Corvani, who had fought the Vexithari for 12 years before being consumed, still had scattered survivors in hiding across the galaxy. Captain Ryan Kelly reported from the Corvani refugee station in the Outer Rim. "Admiral, these people have been hiding for 200 years. But when they heard about our victory, something woke up in them." On the screen, Stone could see the massive reptilian Corvani. They were 10 feet tall with natural armor plating and claws like swords. For centuries, they had lived in caves and abandoned stations, too broken to fight. But now they were standing, upright again. Their eyes burned with ancient fury. "The Corvani war chief asked me to deliver a message," Ryan continued. "He said the hibernation of honor is over. The Corvani are ready to take back their worlds." Stone felt a chill of excitement. The most powerful warrior species in the galaxy was joining the fight. Dr. Foster's readings confirmed what everyone was beginning to understand. "Admiral, bioenergy levels continue to drop. The Vexithari are experiencing something they've never faced before. Starvation. Their primary food source is disappearing. How long can they survive without fear energy? Based on the bioship readings, maybe 6 months. After that, their organic systems will start shutting down." Admiral Stone looked around the command center. Every screen showed the same thing, a galaxy that was waking up from a 300-year nightmare. Species that had forgotten how to fight were remembering. Civilizations that had accepted defeat were choosing to resist. And at the center of it all was humanity's simple refusal to be afraid. "Admiral," Sarah Brooks said, "we're receiving a priority transmission from the Vexthari bioship at Talos 3. Stone felt her heart skip a beat. "Put it through." The screen filled with an image that was both horrible and beautiful. The Vexthari bioship was speaking to them directly for the first time. Its voice was like wind through dead trees. "Small mammals of the third planet," it said, "you have disrupted the feeding. This cannot continue. Submit, and your deaths will be swift." Stone stepped forward and looked directly at the alien horror. "No." The simple word seemed to shock the Vexthari. It had probably never heard that response before. "You will submit," it repeated, but there was something different in its voice. Uncertainty. "We will fight," Stone replied, "and we will win." The transmission ended. For the first time in galactic history, someone had told the Vexthari no and meant it. The final battle began at the Vexithari throne world, a massive bioconstruct floating in the dead space between galaxies. For 3 centuries, this living planet had fed on the terror of countless civilizations. Now, the largest fleet in galactic history was coming to destroy it. Admiral Patricia Stone stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, watching the alien horror grow larger on her screens. The throne world was bigger than Earth's moon, covered in writhing tentacles and organic weapons that pulsed with stolen life energy. "Admiral, fleet status report," said Captain Jack Morrison, the flagship's commander. "We have over 2,000 ships from 43 different species. The entire galaxy is here." Stone looked at the tactical display. Human vessels flew alongside Corvani battleships. Zephyrian fighters soared next to Vortan crystal dreadnoughts. Species that had hidden in fear for centuries were now ready to fight together. "Any word from the Vexthari?" Stone asked. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," Lieutenant Sarah Brooks reported. "They're ordering us to surrender and return to our home worlds. They say resistance is impossible." Dr. Amanda Foster was monitoring the bio readings from the throne world. "Admiral, the energy signatures are incredible. That thing has been feeding on galactic fear for 300 years. It's more powerful than anything we've ever seen." Captain Ryan Kelly's voice came over the communication system from his scout ship. "Admiral, I'm detecting massive defensive systems. Hundreds of bioships are emerging from the throne world. They're forming a protective barrier." Stone watched as the enemy fleet took position. Each bioship was the size of a city, bristling with organic weapons. By all military logic, the Allied fleet should have turned around and fled. The Vex Thari had superior numbers, better technology, and 3 centuries of experience. But logic wasn't what had brought them here. "All ships, this is Admiral Stone," she broadcast to the entire fleet. "Today we end 300 years of terror. Today we show the galaxy that fear is a choice, and we choose to fight." The battle began badly. The Vexthari bioships launched waves of organic fighters that tore through the Allied formation. Their weapons absorbed energy from conventional shields and turned it against their targets. Within minutes, dozens of ships were destroyed. Captain Helen Parker, commanding a squadron of mixed human and alien vessels near the Throne World's North Pole, watched her formation take heavy casualties. "Admiral, our weapons aren't doing enough damage. The bioships are adapting to everything we throw at them." Dr. Benjamin Clark was monitoring the battle from Earth. His voice came through with excitement. "Admiral, the Vex Thari are fighting. Exactly like I predicted. They're using fear-based tactics. They expect us to panic and retreat." "But we're not retreating," Captain Morrison said grimly. "We're taking losses, but we're still advancing." Stone realized what was happening. The Vexithari had designed their entire military strategy around terrifying their enemies into submission. But the Allied fleet wasn't running away. They were getting angrier with each loss. Commander Greg Turner, piloting an experimental fighter, discovered something important during a strafing run on a bioship. "Admiral, when I switched from defensive to pure offensive tactics, the bioship's weapons became less effective. It's like they can't handle enemies who ignore self-preservation." "All ships, aggressive attack patterns only," Stone ordered. "No, defensive formations. Charge straight at the enemy." What happened next had never been seen in galactic warfare. Instead of careful tactical maneuvers, the Allied fleet launched a mass frontal assault. Human Marines crashed their transports directly into bioship hulls. Corvani warriors boarded enemy vessels through breached airlocks. Zephyrian pilots flew suicide runs against the Throne World's defenses. The Vexthari bioships began to falter. Their weapons systems designed to process fear energy from their targets couldn't function properly against enemies who felt no fear at all. Dr. Foster made the breakthrough discovery. "Admiral, I'm reading massive bioenergy fluctuations from the Throne World. The feedback from our fearless assault is disrupting their entire feeding system." Lieutenant Colonel Michelle Davis was leading ground forces inside a captured bioship. "Admiral, these things are breaking down from the inside. It's like they're having some kind of biological crisis." Commander Alex Morgan, analyzing intercepted Vexthari communications, provided the explanation. "Admiral, they're experiencing something they've never felt before. They're afraid. For the first time in their existence, the Vexthari are terrified." The tide of battle turned when Captain Lisa Martinez led a direct assault on the Throne World itself. Her ship, the UES Defiance, crashed through the organic defenses and began attacking the bioconstruct's core feeding systems. "Admiral, the Throne World is trying to drain fear energy from our crews," Martinez reported. "But there's nothing to drain. Our people are too angry to be afraid." Dr. Foster's final gambit involved turning the Vexthari's own feeding mechanism against them. Using captured biotechnology, she created a feedback loop that forced the parasites to experience all the accumulated fear and pain of their victims simultaneously. The result was catastrophic for the Vexthari. The Throne World began convulsing as 3 centuries of stolen terror energy turned inward. Bioships across the battlefield started shutting down as their pilots were overwhelmed by the psychological feedback. Captain Kelly, observing from close range, watched in amazement as the massive Throne World began to tear itself apart. "Admiral, the entire structure is collapsing. They're destroying themselves." But the real victory came from something simpler than technology or tactics. As the Vexthari felt fear for the first time, they finally understood what they had done to countless civilizations. The cosmic bullies were experiencing what it meant to be helpless. The surviving Vexthari sent a final transmission before their Throne World died. Their voice was weak and broken. "How do you fight without fear? How do you charge into certain death with smiles on your faces? Admiral Stone answered for all of humanity. Because someone has to. Because it's the right thing to do. Because that's who we are. The throne world exploded in a burst of released bioenergy, sending waves of light across the battlefield. When the explosion faded, the Vexthari Empire was finished. The few surviving bioships fled toward the galactic rim, broken and defeated. The aftermath was remarkable. Species that had been enslaved by fear for 3 centuries stood up straight for the first time. The Kethvar rebuilt their homeworld. The Zephyrians composed new songs about courage. The Corvani reclaimed their warrior culture. But perhaps the most important change was in how the galaxy thought about impossible problems. When faced with overwhelming odds, they no longer asked, "How can we survive this?" Instead, they asked, "How do we fight this?" Dr. Clark, studying the psychological impact of the victory, made his final report to Admiral Stone. "Admiral, humanity has given the galaxy something it had lost, the knowledge that problems exist to be solved, not endured." Years later, when young aliens asked their elders about the Great Liberation, they were told about the strange species called humans who looked at an impossible situation and said 4 words that changed galactic history forever. "Hold our beer, watch this." The galaxy had lived in fear until humanity reacted, and humanity's reaction was exactly what anyone who knew humans would expect. They rolled up their sleeves and got to work fixing the problem. The Vexithari had ruled through terror for 3 centuries, but they had never encountered a species whose response to terror was to get annoyed and start throwing punches. In the end, the cosmic horror that had paralyzed the galaxy was defeated not by superior technology or ancient wisdom, but by humanity's most basic characteristic, the stubborn refusal to accept that anything is impossible. The galaxy was free. And it had learned the most important lesson humanity could teach. Sometimes the best response to an unstoppable force is to be an immovable object with a bad attitude and a willingness to fight dirty.